Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining us once again on the Friday night panel here on Talkin Fight. Special guests in the house include Paul Johnson, Tim Witherspoon, our regular, and of course Cedric Ben and Mike Orr at 4. All right, gentlemen, quite a lot to talk about this week. Anyway, there's the fallout from the Crawford-Porter fight in respect to him leaving Bob Arum in Top Rank, as well as the upcoming fight with respect to Lopez and Kambosos, whereas a lot of people asking why didn't Lopez continue and take on another fight with Loma. Anyway, where do you want to start, Mike?
Let's start with the fallout. The fallout. Porter, retiring? Yeah, huge.
It's interesting that Crawford is looking for all these people to line up and fight him. But one of the fighters who's accepted the challenge, if you will, is Thurman. But he says he won't fight until like 8 months from now. So Crawford's a little upset at, and Eddie Hearn said he won't take on Crawford, and in fact recommended for Crawford to join PBC if he wanted to go fight in the meantime. Hey, Carl.
At this point, Crawford, he can call out whoever he wants at this point, and I think he should. Is how I look at it, man.
But he just can't get the fights. That's all.
I know. It's unfortunate he can't get the fights that he wants. It's upsetting, man. He looked really, really good in the ring. Like let's not be real. His performance was, it was great.
Definitely was.
Yeah, definitely. You can't complain about it. And honestly, man, why can't he get the fights, man? Tim, why do you think he can't get the fights?
I ain't gonna tell you the truth, but I missed the fight, but I have watched him before. I don't know. Maybe he's political. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to get involved more, and I did watch a little bit of the fight. So maybe it's political. The promotional part of it. I'm sure there's people out there that'll give him a good go.
Well, Eddie Hearn came out and said he's a very expensive fighter to manage. He thinks that Bob Arum lost a lot of money on the pay-per-view sales between him and Porter this past weekend. Yeah. So he wasn't willing to take that risk. So even though you've got an undefeated fighter, I think he's 39-0. I think he's a quote-unquote top-ranked fighter. But now he's on his own, and he might have made a big mistake in leaving Top Rank.
Oh,
I think one of the things that comes to my mind when I hear about these business talks about boxers and promoters and who's with who and who wants to be with who and who doesn't. And to me, the bottom line is that boxing is a very dangerous sport. And the first choice is the boxer. And if the boxer says, I don't want to fight anymore, that's his right. If there's a problem, he should have that right to bring those concerns to the public and let it be known. And there just has to be a much more open relationship between promoters and boxers legally.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the longest time, one of the reasons why some of the big fights haven't been happening is not because of the fighters that are afraid of each other. I don't think, if you've been boxing for that long, once you get to the highest level, you don't all of a sudden wake up and be scared of somebody. So I don't think it's because these guys are scared of each other. It's more so the politics with more promotional companies not wanting to do business with each other, whether it's Bob Arum and PBC or whatever. So I think that was the main problem with Crawford not getting some of the big fights, because most of the guys in that welterweight division, 147, are over, as they say, across the street.
He's got poor options for big money fights.
So now that he's a free agent, he's whether you can argue whether him and Canelo are the pound for pound number one guys in the sport. So if he wanted to, he can just go on one fight contracts like what Canelo's doing as one of the top guys in the sport, or he can sign with PBC to really secure him getting that Errol Spence fight. But other than that, I think now that he's not with Top Rank, one of the reasons why that fight was not happening was the promotional companies, not because the guys were afraid to fight each other. So now that he's not with, he has that blockage away from him, I think there's a better chance of it happening.
That's kind of
Honestly,
that's kind of funny. Real quick. This is kind of like with a promotional thing. Mike Tyson promotion, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis promotion. They turned me down. Not knowing that I was mentally messed up. My promoter was taking my money and stuff like that. And when I found that out, I said, "Whoa, Lennox Lewis and the management didn't want to fight me. Mike Tyson and management didn't want to fight me." And one more, Vander Holyfield. They said he had his heart was messed up, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Just kind of like it's within the same type of thing.
Yeah,
Where these guys
yeah,
want to.
yeah.
But I was like, the fighter wanted to fight me,
Yeah,
but the
exactly.
management made different decisions.
Sure.
Yeah.
And think of this equation. If you have a fighter and he's promoter by promoter A, and you have two other fighters, and one fighter is also with promoter A, and another fighter isn't, who do you think is going to get the inside track on the fight?
Right. Yeah. And that
isn't fair to the fans. The fans deserve the best of the best, and I think fighters, and I've talked to some people about this, and I think there's some merit to this. When you're at the number one fighter, and so who are you going to fight next? Well, the number one contender, people say, well, a fighter should have the right to take a couple choices of his own, who he wants to fight, whatever choice that is. And then eventually there should be a path where the best has to fight the best. But there should be a couple of opportunities to take a fight that you want to take. And down the road, okay, now you have to fight the mandatory, but there shouldn't be a mandatory right off the bat for a fighter. He should have a couple of rights to choose his own fight for a couple fights, and then get into the mandatory. But those things should be discussed and negotiated between promoters and boxers, I think, and a lot of other people think so too.
Yeah, I agree, and it came out with respect to Lopez and Kambosos, who are fighting tomorrow night. They Kambosos is already saying after he deals with Lopez, Teofimo Lopez, he wants to fight Devin Haney down in Australia because he believes it will attract a 90,000 person arena. The American media is laughing at Kambosos, saying that nobody knows. Despite we've had Devin Haney on the show several times, and he's a great fighter, he's not known in Australia. No, so you can sort of see how money talks in this regard. I mean, although Kambosos wants that fight past Lopez, if he beats Lopez, and he's looking down the road to squaring off against Devin Haney, it's all about the money. You can sort of see now how that is fitting into the equation here, when now the promoters are taking into account the pay-per-view sales in advance of booking these fights. And when it came out, the Crawford Porter fight didn't make as much money as anticipated.
No.
Why? Because they put it on ESPN Plus, which is an app, and right. Crawford came out and said a lot of my older fans don't know how to get that app on their televisions.
And he's right.
Right. I think it was a big thing for Crawford to just dip out like that off of Bob Arum. I don't think it was a smart move of him. He's getting a little older. He's 34 years old. He can't afford to do stuff like that because he's got poor options for big money fights at 147 right now. And plus he's getting older. He needs to fight beatable guys like Thurman, because if he waits much longer, the WBO will make him fight, Jaron Enos or Virgil Ortiz Jr. as his mandatory. And those guys will likely beat Crawford. With the way Crawford struggled against, Sean Porter last Saturday night, he's not going to beat Enos Ortiz when he looked like that, to be honest.
Right. Yep. Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Good,
Sorry,
good,
Paul, I didn't get back to you. I apologize.
It's all right. We'll talk.
Yeah. I answered the email, though, to all you guys.
You did. Thank you.
We've been busy on the busy on the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some big things happen. So,
Go
I
ahead.
don't know if I should talk about it or not. Tim. Maybe I should. I don't know if
Go ahead.
too early. You don't want to skunk it by talking about it too soon. But we did get reached out to by a pretty large martial arts channel. They have Don the Dragon Wilson on there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He was many times world champion kickboxer, and he's on this podcast. And they were talking to me about putting something together for a celebrity fight with for Tim. And the name they have a connection to a number of people. One was Don the Dragon. That came up, whether Tim would be interested in doing a match with him. He's a kickboxer, you know. So we talked about that. He's not a big guy, though. He's about relative to Tim. He's like 175 pounds and he's 67 years old. So I don't know. That might be too much to handle. The Thor's hammer comes down on him. And then there was Michael J. White.
Oh.
Yeah, wow. That came. Yeah. So, anyways, I hope I'm not interrupting the podcast, like saying that.
We're just trying to work on getting one of those, Michael. He didn't hear you because the computer, you went off a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You was talking about Michael J. White. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, man, that could be cool. Yo, the original Spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Michael John White, for sure. No, that's cool. So with the Lopez and Cambosa Jr. fight, I'm really looking forward to this one, man. Tio has said some big things, man. He's warned George Cambosa Jr. that God will humble him for disrespecting his family when he defends his belts and the franchise and Ring Magazine World Lightweight titles on Saturday. What are your thoughts, guys? This fight has been, canceled twice. Originally dropped by, what was it, Thriller a couple of months ago. Now it just got picked up by Matchroom. So it's finally about to get underway, man. This is going to be a huge battle. These guys have been talking, and now we're about to see them battle it out.
Didn't their fathers get into a fight yesterday?
Yes, man. Yes, their fathers got into a fight in the press conference.
Wow.
Yeah. And I suppose that stuff happens, and so be it. But the one thing I'll say about Teofimo is that I've seen him fight, and he is a phenomenal professional boxer.
Yes.
And I'm just saying that I've never spent time with the guy. I just know that I've seen him fight, and as a professional boxer, he's outstanding. And his opponent, I'm not that familiar with him, and so I'll just leave it at that with Teofimo.
Excellent. I'm loving this card though. Raymond Ford we have on here fighting Felix Carabello for the WBA Continental Feather titles on this. I've been talking about this kid Raymond Ford for some time now. He's 9-0-1, but to go up for this belt. It's going to be great. And then the co-main event is for the vacant International Boxing Federation World Super Feather title against Fuzili and Ogwa. So check that out. There's lots of action on tomorrow night. Plus, there is another card, the Fulton Jr. versus Figueroa Jr. card.
The guy from Philly?
Yeah.
Fulton?
Yeah, Fulton Jr.
Oh, I remember being in
undefeated 122-pound world champ Stephen Fulton Jr. and unbeaten top contender Reese Alim preview their respective showdowns during Las Vegas Media Roundtable on Saturday before they enter into the ring in separate attractions live on Showtime. This Saturday, November 27th, Premier Boxing Championships event from Dolby live at the Park MGM in Las Vegas. So, guys, don't want to miss that one. Starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fulton will square off against Brandon Figueroa in the main event, while Alim battles Mexico's Eduardo Baez in the co-main event of the telecast, which begins at 10 p.m. So these guys, they're going to clash. It's going to be great, man. Don't want to miss this one. Honestly, I guess we're gonna do watching live on the Tiafoma Lopez on Talking Fight like we did last week. So we're probably gonna be covering that one for sure. So Tim, feel free to come by and join us and watch it live.
When is that later?
Yeah, we do it late at night, man. We watch the fights and we go live and people watch us and our reactions as we commentate on the fight that's actually going on for the people who are unfortunate to not be able to see it. So, it's definitely had some good attention. We're hitting up there in the numbers in a couple of thousands every time we do it now. It's starting to take off. Feel free to join us. No, tomorrow night we're going to do it, Tim. We'll send you the link if you want to join.
Yeah.
You said you want to be up to date with all the new fighters and everything.
Yeah, okay.
This is the way to do it. And you can live commentate while you do it and say, "Hey, man, I think he did it this way wrong or this way wrong." And you know what? We'll interact with the fans and everything. It'll be great.
Speaking of new fighters, we're going to have Maddie Harris join us now. We were talking about big boys and the influence of Tyson Fury a while back on the heavyweight division. Yeah. And it's interesting that we had Maddie Harris, who's 6'8", 6'9", something like that. He's a big boy.
6'8". Yeah, 6'8".
And he won his debut professional fight last night.
Yes, I put the link up. I sent the link to the group.
He's from the UK?
Yeah, he's from the UK. He will be joining us Monday. He actually fell asleep after he fell asleep, missed his interview time. I already talked to him. He apologized for missing it. He's going to be back in on Monday to join us for the interview. What a debut this kid had, man, to be honest. Seriously, dominated the entire 4 rounds. Looked really good, man. Used that jab. He doubled up on that jab like textbook. And, the kid can move. The kid can move for a tall boy. 6'8" like that. And he's fast. And he's got them hand moves, man. He's got that shuffle, that little Ali shuffle. And he's got some explosive power in his right hand. And I mean, he's got some big mitts to swing, man. Definitely a kid to be watching out for. He's gonna make his name known. He's gonna put his stamp on the heavyweight division.
What's his full name?
Maddie Harris, Matty Harris.
Okay.
I'll definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing when you get a big guy that can move.
Yeah, he's the way he just he's so fluid, and the way he looks and the way he throws his jabs out there, and then sets up his rights and his feints. The fact that he's 6'8" and can duck and dodge, the way that some of these shots were coming at him were very impressive, man. He had a very, very, very good debut, very, very skillful debut.
I didn't see the fight. How did he beat him? Was it TKO, knockout?
Unanimous decision. Went all the way. He wanted a tough fighter to begin with, so he didn't back down, man. He took on a guy who's experienced, who had I believe almost 20 fights under his belt, and man, he went to town and he looked great doing it.
Excuse me. So when he said that he wanted a tough guy to fight, I'm sorry. He wanted a tough guy to fight. That is a good sign. But in terms of business and management, did they give? I'm sorry. That's a peanut.
Don't let it get you, champ.
So I know they probably didn't go in deep into him making that decision or saying that. But in his mind, all right, go ahead. In his mind, he should let his management. Wait a minute, how did that happen? In his mind, he should follow the guide of his management and everything because he only has this his first fight, and that's good confidence. I like that.
Yeah, he signed now to Wasserman Boxing.
Okay.
Yeah, signed to Wasserman.
But he told him he want the best.
Yeah, he said he wanted some good competition. They threw him into the ring with Mladen Manov, who was 3-11 going into the fight. So definitely enjoyed it.
That's cool.
Yeah, debut for Harris. He came out. He looked great doing it. I'll send you the link to the fight actually, so you can check it out and tell me what you think.
I like the attitude. What nationality is he?
He is from the UK.
Oh. Damn peanuts.
Huh?
He's from the UK.
Oh, so we're having an influx of peanuts.
He's English.
Yeah, he's an English boy.
What kind of English is he?
He's a big English boy, man. 6'8", 6'8".
What kind of English is he?
He's black. He's black, and he's got. I believe his mom is black and his dad is white.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think I've seen him. Okay, I think I've seen him. He's not from up north, is he? Is he from up like around Sheffield area?
You know what? I'm not too sure exactly where. We'll have to ask him when he comes into the studio for the interview.
It's not on Box Rack?
No, it's not on Box Rack.
He's coming on tomorrow. He's coming on.
He'll be joining me for an interview on Monday.
Oh, I would like to try to send me some links so I can try to be there. Okay.
Okay, definitely. We'll get you know what? We'll have you on for the interview with him.
Okay, so all you got to do is send the link.
Yeah, I'll send the link. We'll have you in there. That'll be great.
Okay,
you know, for him, he'll be getting interviewed by 2-time heavyweight champion of the world after his debut fight. That'd be awesome for him. So I'll definitely send you over the fight. We'll definitely get that going on.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, man. No problem.
All right, what's going on? What else we got?
There was a fight today. Brazilian heavyweight import Igor Adel Mercado da Silva was just 2 seconds away from going the 10-round distance with comebacking Russian heavyweight Sergey Kuzmin when a big right hand dropped him down for the count. In the fight, he was losing regardless. Wow.
But he had 2 seconds to go, is what you're saying.
2 seconds to go, man. He gets dropped right at the bell. Ding, ding. Good night.
I got this. Point.
Could be standing in the runner up for knockout of the week. So,
are there any fights going on tonight?
There's lots of fights going on tonight. So for Friday, we have. Well, there's. I don't know how many are too many are televised, but I know there's one in Dubai that is going to be televised. I believe that's on DAZN or Fight TV. It's Wasim versus Barrera is the main event on this card. There's a bunch of newcomers, some guys that I've been following for a little while who are under 10 fights on the record. We also had a card that was going down in the UK, and the headline was Jack Massey for the vacant International Boxing Organization World Cruiser title. Also on there was Nathaniel Collins for the Commonwealth Feather title, and Mark Jeffries is also on that card for the vacant World Boxing Organization Global Super Middle title. And we got a bunch of undefeateds as leading up to the main events. So definitely another great card to check out. Also, we have Jack Harris against Hector Gabriel Flores for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Light Fly title. And also, Jacob Robinson is on that card for the vacant British Welsh area feather title. And Akeem Ennis-Brown is fighting for the vacant World Boxing Council International Super Light title. So there's lots of fights going on tonight. If you can catch them, if you have the right platforms to stream it all, you can catch them. You just got to find the streams. I'm not giving out all my sources, but I have sources to watch them.
You're talking about English Akeem, right? I mean to cut you off. English Akeem, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to finish what you were saying?
Yeah, no. So there's big cards on tonight. There's a card that's going on in Poland. There's also a card that's going on in Argentina. Both are on media, but it's just you got to find the media to find the fights. I watch them all because I got all these up and comers that are that I'm following around the world, man. So that I have content for my show. Thank you. Shout out Big Mike. The hashtag the Honey Badger. Yes, that's a buddy of mine. Thanks for tuning in, Meech. Thanks for supporting the channel. Much love and respect. We'll talk later. Yes, lots of cards going on tonight. It's just whether or not you can catch them all, and I try to catch as many as I can because I've got all these.
When is Akeem fight?
Akeem fights tonight. You just got to find the. I think the card is on right now. To be honest.
Well, they wanted me to work with him because I was friends. I think I told you before on the show earlier. When the show started, he was an amateur. and I seen a lot of potential in him. I became his friend. We kept in touch, and then maybe about a month and a half ago, they offered for my help. But the pandemic hit. I was supposed to come over and start helping him train. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I mean, you're a nice guy in boxing. He don't come around with a chip on his shoulder. He's always nice to people, and he's a southpaw, And they offered they was going to come over, but the pandemic hit. So I think I might have been in his corner or just helping him out. With John Pittman is his trainer, somebody like that. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, definitely a great fighter. Definitely somebody to watch. There's tons of cards on. I'm loving all of it. The action is just great. I love watching all these up and comers, man, and they make all these wonderful knockouts that we get to show everybody, man. The young guys try so hard. That's why, right? But we got some other guys. Erica Cruz Hernandez is going up against Melissa Esquivel for the WBA World Female Feather title. You can catch that on DAZN tonight. Angel Fierro is taking on Kristen Belima for the WBO title. Also, to watch out on that card will be Raul Salomon, who's sitting at 8-0 in the super middle division, looking to keep his undefeated record going. Plus, I would say watch out for Jesus Archiga Valdez taking on Jose Juan Valdez Morales. Should be another.
Didn't hear his name. Nope. No, you froze.
Oh, I froze? Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus Archiga Valdez, 14-0 in the super bantam, is taking on Jose Juan Valdez Morales. Is another fight that'll be going on that DAZN card to watch out. Plus, Ruben Gastivo Vega, I've mentioned this guy in the past, is taking on Victor De Jesus Albino, and that'll be another fight to watch on that card as well in the bantam division. So you can check this all out tonight. That'll be on DAZN. Other than that, I don't know what else you guys want to talk about, man. It's boxing.
Hey, I got a quiz for you.
Okay.
You remember boxing, the days of boxing back in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, and
yes,
some of the great champions and some of the great boxing matches from that time and that era. The quiz part is this: when did the first ranking sanctioning body come into existence?
Wow. Whoa, got me on that.
And the funny part is, it was like 1980. 1980.
I thought Ring Magazine had a ranking system, and they were
they did, but it wasn't by any kind of structure in the sport of boxing. It was kind of Ring Magazine said, hey, we're gonna have a way of saying who's really good and having a way of ranking and sanctioning fighters, but the actual sanctioning body didn't come into existence until 1980, and a ranking body, and I think ranking bodies should be part of boxing, but I think there has to be a way of making sure that how boxers are ranked, because it definitely affects their employment, how they're ranked. And that process should be part of getting boxing put into a corporate structure, so these things can be talked about and worked out with the boxers' input involved in that process.
I know the WBA has been around since 1962.
No, I don't. I think if you check that out, that's not true. I think if you check it out, it's not true. Now, in 1962, there was not a WBA champion. But I don't want to sit there and be a big mouth and then
known as the NBA before changing its name in '62.
WBC was like first, right?
Well, I know that the IBF and came after the WBC and the WBA, and then the WBO came after the IBF. but what the process was between the WBA and the WBC, if you think about World Boxing Association, World Boxing Council, that gives you some kind of reason to believe that those people have a say about the employment of boxers, and that process is okay, but it has to have input from the boxers. There has to be a process there where the boxers have input into that with those groups, and then down the road figure out a way where there can be an undisputed championship and get that figured out.
Now, historically, I'm going to ask this anyway. Historically, is that because those organizing bodies were formed prior to them being around? Was that boxing was controlled by certain families because they wanted, shall we say, more control over the casino and the gambling that was going on? So I'm talking like the 40s and 50s, especially.
Well, if the discussion here is about who had control, who had power over what, I've read a lot about boxing, and I'm certainly aware of that. The only point that I'm trying to make here is that the people that climb in the ring and do the boxing have to have a say in the process. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is they never have. I mean,
correct.
Originally, it was certain families, either out of New York or Las Vegas, potentially London, England. These other organizations that came to be are located where? Panama, Puerto Rico. Like, where are these? These governing bodies aren't necessarily, with the exception, I think, of the IBF, maybe.
The IBF is from the United States, correct?
Right. So,
and you know how that was made, right?
Nope.
Okay, real quick, and then we don't forget about to come back to this. Okay, Larry Holmes was fighting all the young Turks. I was one of them, and we were giving them a hard time. Call the Truth, Snipes put him on the canvas. So Larry Holmes complained to Bob Lee. No, he complained about to Don King about fighting all these young guys because he's trying to reach Rocky Marciano's record. He's trying to get to 40-0 or something like that. And
49-0, right?
49-0. I'm sorry. And he tried to. I know. I've been hearing this going on. So he went to Bob Lee. Larry Holmes went to Bob Lee, and they created the IBF because he wanted to try to reach Rocky Marciano's record. Now, I might be wrong, but this is all I've been hearing since when I was fighting and when I retired, that Larry Holmes did not want to fight any more young Turks. He wanted a soft path to get into Rocky Marciano's record. I don't know if him and Don King had any problems, but for some reason, Don kept putting the tough guys in on him. So that's how the IBF was created, I heard. He went to Bob Lee. They created the IBF and tried to make it easier pass for Larry Holmes to reach that record. Now, did any of you guys hear about that? That's what I've been knowing for 20 years. That's how the IBF was created.
Yeah, I've read some stuff, but it's interesting to hear that part of it.
Well, that's what I heard. I beat him. It was a close call. Then you had other heavyweights that gave him a close call, called the Truth and all the other guys. And then I heard Larry Holmes went to Bob Lee. They went to Bob Lee, and they talked about the IBF, and now the IBF is here. So then he tried to fight, but he still lost to Michael Spinks, I think, right?
Whoever, yeah.
So, Paul, if that's true, then Larry Holmes is actually the exception if he created the IBF or co-created the IBF.
No, that's what everybody in Philly believed. Everybody in Philly, New York, we heard this. I heard it, that he went to Bob Lee. They sat down and talked. And that's how the IBF was created.
Do you think it had anything to do? Do you think it had anything to do with what, like one is in Central America or Mexico or wherever they were, and then somebody said they wanted to have one of the ranking groups in the United States? Do you think it was something about that, or?
It was about Larry Holmes reaching Rocky Marciano's record, and he didn't want to fight no more young tough guys. So I think he went to Bob Lee to try to make it an easier path. This is what I heard. Sure. And this was going on for 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So that's what happened. And then I think Don they forced him to fight Tyson, and that's why we wound it up today. So the IBF was created because of Larry Holmes.
Right.
It's a regional championship organization like the North American Boxing Federation. In 1983, at the WBA's annual convention held in Puerto Rico, Robert Bobby Lee, president of the USBA, lost in his bid to become WBA president against Mendoza. Lee and others withdrew from the convention after that election and decided to organize a third world-level organization to coexist with the WBA and the WBC, formed as USBA International. The fledgling organization was later renamed the International Boxing Federation, based in New Jersey, where its main offices remain today.
Okay. So I was a little bit, Bob Lee got turned down or something like that. But I think that the word was too, when all the boxers knew that Larry went to him and then enforced it. I think they enforced it, and that made him even more, that they wanted the IBF.
The IBF. It says the IBF's first world champion was Marvin Campbell.
Okay, Marvin Campbell.
Yeah, and then former
WBC
heavyweight champion who won the IBF belt in the same division. During its first year of existence, the IBF remained largely obscure, but by 1984 it decided to recognize Larry Holmes, Aaron Pryor, Marvin Hagler, and Donald Curry, already established champions from other organizations, as IBF world champions. In Holmes' case, he relinquished his WBC title to accept the IBF's recognition. It established the IBF as the third sanctioning body and legitimate organization.
Okay.
But what's amazing is that you take all the groups getting started, and they're having a direct say by ranking in the employment of boxers, and the boxers have to be involved in that process. They have to have a say. There has to be a negotiated process where people's voices are heard in the sport of boxing. And boxing has to be put into a single corporate structure. We know that's going to happen. And you can have the separate ranking groups, but there has to be a single corporate structure for professional boxing, with a union for the boxers, so the boxers have a voice in this, and it'll be great for the fans. It'll be great for the sport. Be great for boxers. Be great for everybody.
I'm glad you said that. That Bob Lee went and tried to form that, because now that the truth really, the fact is that I don't think that Larry Holmes helped create the IBF, because Bob Lee already was trying to do it, right? Okay, so for all those years, I thought that Larry and him just got together and they made it. So now I could tell people another story, because why did they stop him from creating the IBF? Did they?
No, well, he and a couple others created the IBF because of his election, the election with the WBA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, WBA president against Gilberto Mendoza. They withdrew from the convention after the election and decided to organize and create the third party, IBF. So after that, 1983, the WBA's annual convention is when they got together, pulled out, and said, you know what, screw this, we're going to start our own. And then they created the IBF.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me to hear that they used Larry Holmes' money.
Yeah.
or his influence, or whatever.
Well, hey. Sure. Whoa, that's something. That's big. What you just said.
There is a scandal, despite achieving an appearance of legitimacy, to a 3-year investigation started by 1996 charges levied from former heavyweight champion Michael Moore. IBF's reputation was ruined in '99 with founder Lee's indictment for racketeering and other violations for taking bribes in exchange for higher boxer rankings.
Wow.
And then he was indicted on federal racketeering and racketeering conspiracy charges. Were present Robert W. Lee, 65, his son, IBF liaison Robert Lee Jr., 38, former IBF executive and Virginia Boxing Commissioner Donald William Brennan, 86, and South American IBF representative Francisco Fernandez. Lee
That was going on before.
Yeah, that was all. So in 2000, citing extortion, boxing promoter Bob Arum voluntarily testified to have paid IBF president Bobby Lee $100,000 in 2 installments in '95 as the first half of a $200,000 bribe. Though middleman Stanley Hoffman adding that Lee had first demanded $500,000 to approve the Schultz Foreman fight, but had
So
settled.
you can break the law and not be in a family.
You said Stan Hoffman. You said Stan Hoffman.
Maybe he learned from the best.
Stan was the promoter. Stan was the promoter. He promoted. Me and him was good friends. Remember him, Paul? Stan Hoffman.
Yes.
Who did he? Stan Hoffman. He promoted a lot of a good heavyweight too. I just can't remember. It's been 25, 30 years. Stan, little short guy with like gray hair, and he was cool.
Well, do you remember an organization called the National Boxing Association, NBA?
Yeah.
That was actually one of the first groups that was started. And it was started by a guy, I think his name was Irv Abramson. And he started that. And that was way before any of the other ones started. He started that. It was the National Boxing Association. And then the WBC, WBA, and the IBF and everything kind of flew out. Just so from a historical side of boxing, not taking a side about anything, just what the truth is and what happened.
It raises the question whether or not these organizations were formed, if you will, stem the tide of a boxers union. Because if you think about when that was all taking place in the 80s, especially Tim can attest to this, with the power that Don King held at that time, you'd have to think.
The only reason, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but the only reason I disagree is Jose Chugui Torres, former light heavyweight champ of the world. He was one of the original members of the BOC as well, and he became part of, I think, the WBO. He was a part of the WBO, and he was one of the real, and he's passed away now, but his dear wife is around, but he was a real strong advocate about boxers having a union, and he was part of the WB. I think it was the WBO.
He did. Listen, I respect him. We were good friends. We and we really kicked it off. Me, him, and a lot of the other people that was associated, Paul. And I did tell you, he threatened me. He loved me, and like we were cool, and he would give me a hug. But I think Don King pushed him. He pushed him, but he threatened me to take the fight. And so with people, I told you, Paul, people was telling me, man, just leave it alone. And I did leave it alone. But him, Jose Torres, he gave me a hug, we talked, but he had to do it. It was Jose Torres, Suleiman, it was the doctor. It was several other ones. They kept taking turns knocking on the door to force me to fight, threatening me. And
seeing that.
Wait a minute, Paul.
But that's not right, Tim. I'm on your side on this. That's not right.
I understand, but you can look in their eyes and tell they didn't want to do this because they know I was a nice guy and I talked to them. But they was taking turns threatening me in Las Vegas to force me to take the fight with Bone Crusher. And you could tell on their face they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to, but somebody was organizing it. So one after another, even a doctor came. Even their friends was coming, knocking on my door, saying, you better take the fight. I had people in my room with guns.
Tim, can you imagine if people were to come to you and make statements like that if there was a union? That would not happen. And one of the things that baseball, football, hockey, when you have the players' organizations have a voice, these kinds of things can't happen, and they won't happen.
But let me say this: before all this, And after that, I still would get a hug and talk to them. They had to do this. I wouldn't even say this because I tried to talk to Jose Sulaiman's son when I had a chance when we were doing the commentating down in Las Vegas, a Deontay Wilder fight with Tyson Fury. And I missed the opportunity, and I talked on the show about it. I missed the opportunity to talk to his son. And Paul, you was telling me if you see him, talk to him and get the information so we could talk to him. And I blew the chance. When I seen him in Vegas, he looked at me and walked over towards me. And then I walked to him, I gave him a hug, and then I blew the opportunity where we could have united and talked about stuff, and I could have hooked him up with you so we can get started. He had nothing to do with all this, and I don't think those officials did either, but there was pressure, and so I took the fight. I took a dive. You know, I feel bad for Bone Crusher, but they took their turns trying to get me to take the fight, and I knew they didn't really want to do it, but they had to do it.
Tim, one of the things that we love about you is your honesty, and this stuff is gonna get figured out. It's gonna get straightened out. I promise.
My kid's mother was right in the room watching them, listening to them antagonize me. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're gonna get this figured out. It'll get figured out.
Yeah, I had people in the room with guns. I had people from Philly. They flew in. No, serious. There was people.
No, I'm talking about his T-shirt. He's showing his T-shirt.
Oh,
that's right, Tim. Fighting solves because what? Because fighting solves everything, right?
But I didn't really need the guys with the weapons because I knew that at Don, I fought real good. I showed that I wasn't scared. You know, if you scared, Don King will put you down. And I was cool with them. I don't think they was going to physically hurt me or anything like that, but they was using mental things to do that to me. But some of my people flew over anyway to protect me for that particular fight. But it did hurt me a little bit that he did that Jose Sulaiman, Jose Torres, because we were good friends. Every time they see me, we would hug me, talk to me for long periods. But I knew they had to do that. They didn't want to, though. They didn't want to. They were good. They were good guys. I left that alone. But since you mentioned, Paul, and I talked to you about that, me and you talked about that, and you didn't realize that, you know, but his son is a nice guy. But that's what happened. That's what happened.
One of the good things of having you being a part of the BLC, Tim, because you understand this stuff in boxing, and those are the kind of behind the scenes stuff that is going to be eliminated. And the sport is going to be put into a corporate structure with undisputed championship tournaments, and the fans are going to see what they want to see. And this behind the scenes stuff, if there's a grievance, if there's a dispute about something, there'll be a process to bring that dispute forward with the business of professional boxing. And we'll get that'll come together.
This is one of the reasons why I'm on this podcast. This is one of the reasons why I'm keeping contact with you, Paul, because it was in my heart. I mean, I should be living in a mansion, with a lot of money in the bank, going around helping other people. And these are the things that stop me from doing that. But I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. I'm going around. I don't have that much money, but I'm still going around talking.
And Tim, don't forget, there's some people that look at a regular middle class house as a mansion. Believe me.
Oh yeah, man. Trust me.
Hey, Tim, I spoke up on your behalf today. I was commenting on there's a product out there called Fight Camp. Are you familiar with it? It's like an in-home boxing system. And they raised like $90 million. I don't know if they've gone public yet or not. But one of the investors was Mike Tyson.
Right. Go ahead.
Anyway, I said to these guys, I said, what they need is someone to endorse their product, same way that George Foreman endorses the grill. I said, you need to get hold of Tim Witherspoon and have the Tim Witherspoon Fight Camp.
There you go.
Whoa, that is cool. I gotta go in my pocket if I become rich, right?
Tim Witherspoon Fight Camp. Hey, we can sell that already. We can sell that already, man. Tim Witherspoon Fight Camp. We can sell that.
I don't want nobody else's money. I don't want to go take somebody else's. I just want what's deserving to me. I don't want nobody else's money. I don't want your fame.
All right, I'll withdraw the offer then.
No. I'm talking about just in general. I would like to do something like that, but it's like if I see somebody that's wealthy, hey, God bless them. I don't want their money. If they need me to work with them, I'll work with them. But I don't want to take their money. You know, give me a job, I'll work.
Unless they want to invest in a corporate structure for professional boxing, then we'll talk to them.
There you go.
Yeah, Paul. I was using Tim. I was purely using Tim as the worm on the hook.
Oh, trust me, I've used Tim as the worm on the hook many times.
Hey, please do.
I do. Any chance I get to mention you and the fact that you and me host the show together? Oh, definitely. I'll ride that.
As long as they don't try to hurt me. No,
never. I'm always like, hey man, you should come check it out. Oh, by the way, my co-host is none other than 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, Tim Witherspoon.
You never know. And
everybody's always like, "Oh, really? Okay."
Was that English? Oh, really? Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yes, mate. No, we got friends over there too. We got a lot of friends over there too. They love me over there. I love
our hands reach globally now.
Yes. Yeah. So that's primarily, I always want to leave a good thing, but Paul has been fighting. That's why I'm with Paul. Because I know he won't take nothing from nobody. I know him. He will make sure everything's run right. And this is why I'm behind Paul and supporting him. I know that if they gave him the project or he created it, he would do right by all the boxers and people. So that's one thing I'm behind Paul for. 100%.
Definitely. I'm behind it anyway. Any way that I can help, I'm always behind. I'm here to help. Lend a hand.
Now that Sean Porter's retired, I wonder if we might be able to contact him.
He's going to be looking for something new to do. It's either that or he's going to go into broadcasting.
Good idea.
He is broadcasting. I mean, it's obvious that the Tyson Furies of the world, the Anthony Joshuas of the world are pretty busy. Still maintaining their championship status. But guys who are recently retired, borderline here, Deontay Wilder. If you ask me, based on his concussive nature, that was interesting when we were talking about the IBF earlier. That Donald Curry's name came up because I'd sent you guys an email regarding the discussions going on Reddit right now with respect to the formation of a union and why there hasn't been one so far to benefit guys like Donald Curry, who's currently suffering without any healthcare benefits, from the effects of concussions that he received in the ring. Right. So, it's an ongoing issue without a doubt to provide not only healthcare and dental and mental health benefits for fighters past and present, but as you say, Paul, there's all these other benefits that a union can provide to boxers as well, fighting on their behalf outside of the ring per se.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we've talked to politicians and we've talked to promoters and we've talked to boxers and this thing is going to happen. It's going to come forward because it's going to be in the best interest of the sport and everybody's going to benefit. And the fans are going to see what they really want, and that's undisputed championship tournaments, legitimately, in a single corporate structure of professional boxing. So, it's going to happen. And it's
got to happen. It's got to happen. There's too many belts. Not enough people can, comprehend what's going on, when it's going on.
Yeah,
you go up weight. You go up weight. You vacate belts, mandatories. You got all this different stuff that goes on with all the different belts and all the sanctioning bodies, and then all the politics that gets involved. And then what happens? We don't get the fights.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got guys that literally can wait out another boxer's age. Like, that's ridiculous. Stuff like that shouldn't go on. If this guy's a champion and I'm a champion, why aren't we fighting together as a champion fight? How the hell am I waiting for you to age out?
Well, remember, there is a thing that says if you're a champion, and somebody comes up to you and says, "Okay, I want you to fight that person," You know, we're not talking about the politics of who's promoting who.
Right.
But if there's a fighter that's coming up and you're the champion of the world, and there's a fighter coming up who's really good, and you know it'll make a lot of money, but he's not the number one contender yet, and you want to fight him, there should be a selection process where the champion should have a couple of free choices if he wants to fight, but eventually there should be a process where you have to take the number one contender or however that process is going to be worked out.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, I like that. That sounds good.
So we got off to a bit of a late start, so we're running out of time because Neil the Deal show is coming up.
Okay.
Do we have any last comments before we exit?
Tim, don't forget Monday you're going to interview Maddie Harris with me.
Okay. You got to text me. What time would that be? What time would that be?
That's going to be 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's only going to be like a 20-30 minute thing.
Okay.
Well, I want to know right now where Cedric's been.
I've been training my boxer the whole time. I've been listening to the whole show. That's why I came on now just to sign up.
Cedric went out and got a pint. Went out and got a pint. 4:30 tomorrow, right?
No, 4 p.m. Monday.
Okay, 4 p.m. Shania, remember, that's my secretary. 4 p.m. Monday, all right? Okay.
I'll send you the link. Plus, I'm going to put the video to his fight from last night on the WhatsApp group that you're part of.
Okay.
So go on there and click it, and you'll be able to watch the fight.
Okay, beautiful.
Awesome.
Stay sharp.
Yeah, you know, I think he's going to love that, man, getting interviewed by a legend like yourself.
And I've been practicing too. I've been practicing.
That's good.
Doing podcasts with Brian. We've been trying to do stuff, and that's the reason why when I got on with you guys, I wanted to keep doing it so I can get better.
You begin your podcast sparring in. You begin your podcast sparring in.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. We should be called the Sparring Channel.
There you go.
Figure out something.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Mike,
So, you coming on next week too, right?
Yeah, let's remain in touch.
We will
remain in touch.
We will.
I'm gonna try to get somebody. We're gonna try to get somebody. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. To all the fans watching around the world, thanks for tuning in, supporting the channel, man. TalkinFight.com. Make sure you go hit it up. Jab the likes, hook, subscribe, set those reminders. You know what it's about, man. Another Friday night, same time, same channel on the panel. We'll see you next week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for watching live on Talkin Fight. You know what it is. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Tim, Graham, Cedric. You know what it's at, man. We'll see you all next Friday.
Yes, sir.
We're out.
Okay. See you.